Howdy do, everyone. Monica Corrado here for a Facebook Live. Ask the Gap Chef. It is, what is it? Thursday. Nope, Tuesday. Tuesday the 16th of July. My life is fast these days, folks. Anyway, Monica Corrado here, the Gap Chef. I'm here to answer your questions about gaps. My website is simplybeingwell.com. I would love for you to visit me there. I have all of my books are there. My online courses are there. Some of my articles are there, along with at my publisher at Saline River Press. Hopefully there's a lot of really good resources for you there that you could find and use that will help you on your GAPS journey. I am thrilled, I am blessed, I am privileged. It is my joy to represent the cooking aspects of GAPS, to be the primary faculty, the solo faculty teaching cooking for Dr. Natasha and her fabulous certified GAPS practitioner and certified GAPS coach programs. Really amazing programs where we are training people all over the globe, practitioners, in how to use GAPS in their practice, and of course coaches. These are the fabulous, amazing, dedicated people who are there to help coach you through the GAPS diet. So if you have any questions about GAPS, I first really encourage you to go to gaps.me. That is the place to find all the information you need about the GAPS diet first. That's the first place you should go, gaps.me. That is Dr. Natasha's website. That's not my website, it's her website. So go there. She has a wonderful page called FAQs, Facts, where she is constantly answering questions about GAPS and specific conditions and all sorts of things. And I really encourage you to go there first. Go there before you go to any Facebook page or to any practitioner. That's where you go. That's where I go. Got to go there first. Then we go to the blue book. We go to the yellow book. We go to the red book, Put Your Heart in Your Mouth. We go to the green book when we're trying to explain GAPS to people who are vegetarian and not well. Anyway, so I'm happy to be here with you today, happy to answer your questions. And again, I am not a medical doctor. I am a certified GAPS practitioner. I am the GAPS chef. And my desire is to accurately represent the GAPS diet to you and answer questions, in a way that is faithful to the diet itself. All right. I also want to let you know that I'm I'm going on a trip to Italy, a culinary trip in September 2025. If anyone wants more information about that, I will be posting, so keep your eyes peeled for my Facebook page. All right, let's say good morning. I know it's morning somewhere out there, so there's morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello to all of you fabulous Gapsters. All right. Hey, Yasmin, good to have you. Yasmin, hooray, Laura made it. Excellent. Welcome, Laura. Mariah, hello, Mariah. Good afternoon. All right, and Sabrina is here also. All right, I am trying to do these every Tuesday at this time. I know I switched the time from 11:30 Mountain to 12:15, but that allows me to be in a meeting with my with the new biology clinic, which I also work for. Tom Cowan, Dr. Tom Cowan, and the clinic. All right, that's why I did that. So, all right, so there's a couple things. I do have some questions that were put on the page that people would like answers to. So I'm not sure if anyone could go over there and type them in for me, or grab them and type them in. I know there was one from Jody and a couple other people. The first one I remember has to do with cravings. Cravings for bread, cravings for potato, cravings for starches. So why don't we start there? So this is a really good question, and a question that comes up often. Cravings for starches and sugar. So we have to take a couple things into consideration. One of them is, I want to say, how long have you been on the GAPS diet when these cravings come up? If they come up right away, let's say you just started on GAPS and you've really, maybe you certainly just started on intro. We know that the intro diet is very, very low on carbohydrates and on starches. There are no potatoes on GAPS. There is no bread on GAPS. There are no grains on GAPS. You all know that. There's no potatoes, no sweet potatoes, no yams of any kind, no grains, no flour made of grains, etc. So if you've just started intro and you're having cravings, that's pretty much usual. Like, you're craving some starch because, was that diabolical looking? Because the bad guys, sorry, I hate to divide things into good and bad, blah, 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 but because the non-beneficial microbes, we'll say the non-beneficial microbes, bacteria, etc., usually yeast, are craving food. They're craving carbohydrate. They're craving sugar, really. We remember that there are 3 macronutrients in the body: protein, fat, carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is another word for sugar. Yeah. So, protein, fat, or sugar. So, if you're craving sugar, then, and you've just started intro, a week, 2 weeks, a month even, you're still in that phase of starving out the pathogens and the non-beneficial microbes. Dr. Natasha would actually divide them into pathogenic, opportunistic, and beneficial. So when we starve out, when we cut out the sugar, when we cut out those carbs, meaning certainly the refined carbohydrates, right? Like all of the bread and the pasta and the pizza and the rolls and the cookies and the cakes and the crackers, blah, 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 all those things made of wheat flour, or any other grain flour. When we cut them out, we are starving the pathogens and the opportunists. So it could be that you're craving for a potato or a bucket of potatoes or, sorry, I just saw a big bucket of potato salad in my mind. It made me laugh. Or a piece of bread. Those things are probably, that craving is probably being directed by your microbes, which are out of balance. Microbes that are out of balance, microbes that need that to survive. Now, let's say that it's, I don't know, you've been on GAPS for 6 months, 8 months, a year, maybe even into your second year, which of course is what we're all supposed to be doing, right? GAPS for 2 years, make a commitment. If it's gone that long, if you've been on it that long and you've had a really good amount of healing, you've been doing your meat stock, you've been eating your kefir, you've been having your fats and all those, you're eating organ meat, you've been off of refined carbohydrates and you haven't had them in your diet for a very, very long time, and then you have a craving, and you have a craving for potatoes, or you have a craving for a piece of bread. Now, at that point, we really need to start thinking about whether this is mental, emotional, or physical. Right? Like, I'm at a party and I've been doing this for so long and I really just want that piece of cake. Okay. Or, geez, everybody else is eating sandwiches and I want to have one too. Okay. So those are what I would call mental or emotional reasons for wanting to have these types of foods. Or it could be physical, where your body says, I really just want that carbohydrate right now. Is it you or is it your microbes? So again, all of that is something hard to tell, except that, when you've been on the diet for a while, it's probably more you than your microbes. But that all depends on the state of your microbes, and no one knows that better than you and your body. Yeah, because you know your body. You know if you still have a fungal imbalance. You'll know. Do you still have dandruff? Do you have athlete's foot? Do you have eczema flares? Do you have yeast infections? Do you have, all of those things. All of those things show us you have foot fungus, right? Anyway, all of those things are telling us that you probably want to stay away from sugar. They're also telling us that you probably still have a microbial imbalance going on there, meaning the pathogens are still strong enough to direct your food cravings. Very interesting, right? Very, very interesting, I think. Now, I want to give you a resource, and then we'll continue. Here's a resource. One of the things that Dr. Natasha wrote a long time ago, and it made it into the Blue Book, and it is also on her website, gaps.me, and that is to look at her article that she wrote called One Man's Meat is Another Man's Poison. Now, that article is very helpful because in the article she will talk about write about how we go through, everything goes in cycles, right? Like we have so many things that are going on. There are seasons. Is it summer? Is it winter? Is it fall? Is it spring? Yeah? Where's your body in all of this, right? Like, where are you in terms of healing? What layers of healing have happened already, et cetera, et cetera. And to listen to the body if it wants something. Even if that something is not on its current stage, even if that something is outside of the diet. What? Yes, it's true. I encourage you to go read that book. That chapter in the book, that article on the website. And so, when we think that way, what's the harm? Better said, some of my colleagues say this too, go ahead and have it. Is it a taco? Maybe you want a taco. Maybe you want certainly not from Taco Bell, I hope, or whatever, sorry. Usually people are going to crave things that have things in them that the body needs, usually. If you've gotten past the point of my microbes are in charge of my food, my microbes have taken over my brain, my microbes' toxins have taken over the ability for me to think clearly, my microbes are directing my food cravings. All of that is real, and all of that happens. So if that's not what's happening, then it can be that there's something in the food that your body actually needs right here, right now. Remembering that the body is an incredible, divine architecture, brilliant. Unfortunately, the only word that comes to mind is factory, even though you're not a factory. But the body is able to create things out of things that you give it all the time, which is so cool. So, go and read the article. Anyone who's having cravings for anything, one man's meat is another man's poison. Again, Blue Book, website, gaps.me. And then, what do? Well, let's say you have it. Okay, I'm just going to have it. I'm always going to counsel, I'm always going to suggest, I'm always going to recommend that whatever you do, whatever it is in your life, whatever it is with regards to the GAPS diet, Whatever you do in alignment, which means if you're going to eat that chocolate chip cookie, or you're going to eat that piece of bread, which I hope is a sourdough and not a piece of Wonder Bread, right? Good, better, best, all the time, good, better, best. Yeah? If you're going to eat that food, which is not on the diet at all, or isn't in the stage that you're in, but you really want to eat it, get in alignment. And then, meaning, get centered and really enjoy that cookie, or really enjoy that piece of sourdough, or really enjoy that whatever. Enjoy it. Savor it. Appreciate it. Be in alignment with it. Whatever you do, it's important that you not say, I really want that, but I'm not supposed to. I really want that, but I shouldn't do it. I really want that, but it's not on the diet. I really want that, but it could be bad for me. I really want that, but it's the but part that's going to get you in trouble because you're ripped. Your energy is not clear. I really want that. I'm going to eat it, and it's going to be okay. Right? I really want that. I'm going to eat it, and it's going to be okay. So let's say you eat it. Now, this is a really important piece. So let's say you've lined up. You're going to have that cookie. It's organic. It's got good fats in it. Your mother made it, or your friend, or your cousin, or your whatever, someone who knows how to cook clean, whatever. You ate that piece, that thing you were craving. You ate it. You were like, oh, this is going to be the best piece of chocolate I've ever eaten in my entire life. Oh, and it was. How do you know if it was the right thing to do or not? Vis-a-vis your body and your microbes. By what happens afterwards. Right? By what happens afterwards. So maybe you ate it and you felt like $1,000,000 and you were fine and nothing happened. Like you didn't get. So what's nothing happened? No adverse response, right? No diarrhea, no constipation, no eczema flare, no whatever. No mood swing, right? That would be like, oh, but what if you ate it, you're in alignment, you eat it, and then you feel terrible? Then probably you weren't ready for it, and it wasn't the right call, but that's okay. You now have more information about what you can and cannot tolerate. That's what it's all about, Alfie. It's all about, are you on a healing trajectory or not? Right? Are you on a healing trajectory? Healing trajectory. That means like, how are you doing? Are you doing better today than yesterday? Are you doing better this month than 2 months ago? Right? Sometimes it's so incremental, you can't even see that you're doing better, which is why it's a really good idea for you to write things down in a journal, on a calendar, in a notebook, something, right? Where you say, maybe you do it once a month, maybe you do it once a week. I'm feeling like this. This is what's still showing up for me of imbalances. You know, maybe you write that May 1st. And then in June, on June 1st, you write, I'm feeling like this. This is what's showing up for me in terms of imbalances. Do the same thing every month. And then you look back and you go, wow, I'm doing great compared to May. Right? Anyway, I know that was a long explanation about what do we do about cravings. What you do about cravings is you make your decision and you line up with it, and then you look at what happens afterwards. That's it. But whatever you do, make sure you do it with ease and joy and excitement. You know, you can get more out of one bite of something in alignment than a whole meal when you're grumping around. Grumping, complaining, worrying, whatever it is, yeah? All right, I hope that was helpful. All right, here we go. Let's see if there's other couple things in here. Hello, Jody. That was for you. I just got burned out of eating meat stock, carrots, onions, eggs. Oh, well, you know, here's the thing, folks. Remember, like, that's such a good comment, Jody, all of you. I'm writing another book. Thought I'd let you know. Fabulous recipes. Anyway, that's another story for another time. But the reason I'm writing it is because so many of you get burnt out. And I'm sorry for that, because there's really no reason to be burnt out on GAPS. I mean, truly, there's really no reason. There's so many meat. Let's just talk about meat stock for a minute. First of all, there's so many meats you can make, right? Lamb, beef, pork, chicken, turkey, bison, goat, venison, fish, you name it, so many different meats. And then you go ahead and have so many different herbs that you can add in: rosemary, thyme, basil, oregano, cumin, coriander. I mean, goodness gracious. And then there's so many vegetables. So I actually built a matrix which shows all of these things, right? Pick one of these and one of those, and then off you go. And I've covered a lot of this in my Mastering Meat Stock. It's really called the Meat Stock Masterclass, which talks about just make something. Make a casserole. Yay, GAPS. Make a stew. Yay, GAPS. Make a soup. Yay, GAPS. Make a roast. Yay, GAPS. Ferment some meat. Yay, GAPS. I mean, truly, folks, I hear that people that are on the diet for a long time get burnt out, but it's just because, every day you're doing the same thing. So do something different. Mix it up. Roast a chicken. Roast a goose. Roast a duck. Make some salmon in the oven. Mix it up, everybody. You can do that. Of course you can do that on GAPS. Now, if you're sitting on stage 2, even on stage 2, after a while, if you've been there for 6 months or 3 months or something, let's say you've been on stage 2 for 3 or 4 months, you're sitting on stage 2. That's what Dr. Natasha calls it, sitting on stage 2. Other practitioners have called it extended stage 2. Whatever. It just means you're just going to be parked there for a while. You've parked yourself on stage 2. If you're there for a good long while and you want all the nutritional benefits, you absolutely can start bringing in some other things from stage 3, depending on what you're trying to heal. So, remember, make meat stock with zucchini and mushrooms, and make it Thai. Use coconut milk. Of course, if you're on intro, you can't do coconut milk, but you can do coconut cream, right? So anyway, I really, really hope to do some more cooking classes with all of you this year. Got to get you all in the kitchen and having some fun and tasting some things. GAPS is so much easier than people think it is. I'm thinking of launching a class called Easy Peasy GAPS with Monica. Yeah. And every week we'll do a class online, meaning I'll be cooking in the kitchen and we will share recipes. I don't know. It's just a thought. So yeah, I hear ya. Blessings to you, Jody. Hello, Cindy. Okay, East Brums. Hello, Rebecca. You're welcome. Hello, Naa. How are you? Great question. If you eat soups made out of stock, is it considered part of your stock intake? Absolutely. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. This is a critical understanding for all of you. One of the reasons I wrote my book, my first book, was on meat stock versus bone broth. And that became part of my big book now, which has a spiral. There are 4 books in there. There's really 6 books in there. In any case, because so many people were just sitting around drinking stock all day and thinking that that was GAPS, and it's really not. If you have soup that's made with stock, absolutely that's part of your stock intake, your daily stock intake. If you have stew that's made with stock, soup, stew, casserole, all of blended soup, clear soup, right? Hearty soup, all of those things can be part of your meat stock, or should be counted, yes, as part of your meat stock intake. The more you have, the faster you heal. With the caveat to slowly increase the amount that you're having, because meat stock can and does cause die-off. So don't go from 0 to a quart a day. Bad idea. You can go from 0 to a half a cup a day, maybe. Some people have to go from 0 to a tablespoon or a teaspoon a day. It all depends on what you're trying to heal and what's going on for you in terms of symptoms, etc. Hope that's helpful. Good, Laura. Woohoo! Rebecca, yeast problems. Yes. So let's talk about yeast problems for one moment. I'm going to say it again and again and again. Dr. Natasha has said so many times, if you have a yeast issue, I'm paraphrasing, these are not her words, but this is the concept, right? If you have a yeast issue, you must take out nuts, seeds, and fruit. Gone Johnson. Now, does that mean you can't have the fruit in a GAPS shake? No. You can have the fruit in a GAPS shake, absolutely, especially if you follow the GAPS shake in the blue book on page 80. Yeah? There's a very specific recipe there. That's the GAPS shake, the official GAPS shake recipe. So you can have fruit in your GAPS shakes if you are avoiding fruit for yeast, etc. It's okay to do. All right, so yeast problems, no nuts, no seeds, no fruit. And I personally suggest that you up the fat and you up the kefir. Remember, kefir, kefir, K-E-F-I-R. Kefir is your weapon. Sorry for that word. Kefir is your best remedy. That might sound better. Kefir is your ally. There you go. Kefir is your best ally. It's your friend. It's your best remedy for clearing yeast. Why? Because kefir has what we call beneficial yeast, who will ultimately crowd out the pathogenic yeast. Hope that's helpful. Okay, let's see what else is going on. Somebody's laughing. I don't know why, but it's a good thing to be smiling. Okay, Yasmin says, we just had a mebendazole. Everybody say that just once. Treatment. Dr. Natasha said to use natural anti-parasite for 2 months afterwards. Can you please help with this? No. Sorry, Yasmin. Can't help you. I don't do antiparasitics, and I never have. So I really have no experience with that, and I really can't personally help you with that, except to say that she has said and believes that there are natural herbal antiparasitics that should be local to your area, meaning if you're in North America, there's some that would be specific to North America. If you're in Europe, if you're in South America, if you're in Africa, if you're in, anywhere else, the Middle East, etc., that you should have, there should be. Every traditional culture has traditional herbs and herbal medicines, so to look there. Yep. I personally, I am not an anti-person, and Dr. Natasha really isn't an anti-person either, meaning we don't go in and try to kill things. For the most part, that's not a GAPS strategy. GAPS is work the diet, and work it for 2 years at least before you start doing anything like chelation. Don't even get me started on that. Anything like, anti-anything. Really, you want to take the time it takes to starve the pathogens, get rid of the metals, and work the diet for at least 2 years before you think of doing any kind of treatments. Just saying. The other thing, I just want to go back to Jody, because Jody talked about yeast problems, And I think we've talked about this before. I'm sure we have at some point in the last couple of years. But remember that yeast are invited into the body, by the body, to protect you from heavy metals. So if you have a yeast issue and it's not going away, and you don't have any amalgams in your mouth, right? And you've done a really good detox from any kind of things that might have gone into your arm, right? Any kind of metals there, whether you were 3 years old, 5 years old, 52 years old, whatever, right? Things for the flu, etc. Remember metal, heavy metal adjuvants in these things. Then you probably want to look at doing a heavy metal detox. But I'm not going to go into that now. I'm just trying to make the link, the connection for all of you, that if you have a yeast issue and you've already done the diet for a couple of years and you really are very low on things like nuts, low to no nuts, seeds, fruits, and you still have yeast issues, and you've got a lot of kefir that you're eating, drinking, consuming, kefir cream, la la la, and you've taken out all the metal from your mouth, and you've taken out all the metal from your arms, right? Then you may want to consider doing some kind of heavy metal chelation. Again, I'm not experienced in that, and I don't do it with people because they can go wrong. But I love that ionic foot baths take heavy metals out of the body. Ionic foot baths, very non-invasive. Glyphosate goes too, very inexpensive. I love them. So that's as far as I'll go with that. Alrighty. We've done the dive for over 2 years. Excellent, Yasmin. Hello, Victorious Valerie. Ba-ba-da-da. How do you like that for a welcome? Haven't seen Victorious Valerie in a while. Great to have you with us. Okay. All right. Here's the question from Mariah. My 5-year-old and 3-year-old sons are watching with me and wanted me to tell you thank you for teaching Mommy how to make sauerkraut. Oh, how sweet is that? Because they eat it every day, and my 3-year-old especially can't get enough. They also said they want you to say hi to them. Hi. Oh, hello, Israel and Elliot. Hello, Israel and Elliot. How sweet. Keep eating your sauerkraut as much as you want every single day. Your mommy can make it with purple cabbage and yellow cabbage, or green, I guess. Purple cabbage and green cabbage, and combine them and see what happens. And maybe she can put carrots in someday. So much fun. I'm so happy you're doing that. So I am very, very, very happy. That means a lot to me. Okay. Happy to hear that it's helpful. All right. Thank you for that so much, Mariah. Appreciate it today. Okay. Hello, Gladys is here. Hello, Gladys. Oh, purple cabbage is their favorite. I love that. Fantastic. Yes, purple cabbage is beautiful and crunchy and yummy and excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. So now you can bring jars of sauerkraut to their kiddie parties. Wouldn't that be great? Let's start a trend. Everybody bring jars of sauerkraut to share to kiddie parties. But make sure that you warn them so that they don't all go home and, they eat so much they all have diarrhea because they don't have any sauerkraut in their lives. Anyway, sorry about that. Any of you that have kids that are on today and watching or who are going to watch this later on, I did a Facebook Live last week about gaps in the summertime with some tips. I hope that was helpful. Take a look at that about how to get, how to work with meat stock and things in the summertime when it's very, very hot and it can be like, Mom, I don't want any more soup. Perfect. Let's find other ways to get that stock into their little bodies and into yours also in a way that is flavorful and helpful, etc. All right. Okay, now I am not remember. Somebody had a question on the page. They wanted to know. All right, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking. I'm making sure that I'm getting everyone. Yeah? Okay. Someone else had a question on the other page about gaps and psoriasis. So, blessings on your journey. Anyone who has these major skin issues, I could probably talk for a long time about this, but let's see if I can get some points. I do need to teach the Certified Gaps Coach webinar coming up in about a half an hour, so I don't have a lot of time right now to go through it, but let's do that. So when we're talking about skin, we want to think about a couple of things. One, in no apparent order, I'm just going to throw these out so I get them on the video. One, what are you putting on your skin? Everyone, whatever you're putting on your skin needs to be edible. If you can't eat it, you don't put it on your skin. That means lotions, potions, soaps, every darn thing. We want to make sure that whatever's going on the skin is edible. It's food. It's tallow and lard and cod liver oil and seaweed and all those beautiful, beautiful things. So that's one thing to consider. The next thing to consider is that your skin is made up of the same stuff that your gut is made of, which is, I didn't do it yet. I don't think I did it yet, Yasmin. Okay. Your skin is made up of the same stuff that your gut is made of, meaning epithelial tissue, right? So we really want to be eating and consuming as much of that collagen as we can. We want meat stock with lots of all the connective tissue, right? All of the skin, all of the, all of the skin, all of the ligaments, all of the cartilage, all of the tendons blended into the stock. Chew it, eat it. Remember, we have to have collagen to heal the skin and to heal the gut. But you have to have vitamin C, meaning sauerkraut, never ascorbic acid. Don't take it. I'm telling you, it'll blow holes in your gut. Ascorbic acid. So, sauerkraut plus collagen plus meat stock equals a healed gut, folks. And remember this very important piece. I know I'll put my finger up for emphasis, right? Remember this very important piece. Your body has to be able to break down the collagen into its amino acids in order to use it. That means you have to have high enough stomach acid to break it down. You can drink all the meat stock you want. You could drink a gallon a day for a year. And if your stomach acid is not where it should be, you are not going to heal and seal. You can't. So go check out the stomach acid tests in the featured posts on this page to make sure that your stomach acid is high enough, meaning the pH is low because it's acidic, but your stomach acid production, you're producing enough to be able to break down the protein into its component parts so that your body can take it along with that fabulous sauerkraut and or cabbage tonic, etc., and weave it together to make nice tight junctions in your gut and to heal your beautiful skin. Yeah? Very, very, very important. All right. There's a lot more to it, but I just want to say, folks, I know that there are a lot of issues out there. There are a lot of medical terms like autoimmune this and autoimmune that, and they are telling you that it's not healable. And our experience with GAPS is many, many things are healable. They can heal if you take out the toxins and add in the nutrition. Remember, I'm always talking about you have to detoxify and nourish and rebuild the gut, right? There's 3 pieces to this puzzle. So everything is possible. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep heart. All will be well. You're doing a great job. Believe in the ability of your body to heal. And I think we all just need to take a great big deep breath and get centered before we eat that beautiful food. Yeah? All right. Hi, Brendan. Brendan, blah, 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 blah. Brendan Spencer. Hey, Brendan. This is Dr. Natasha's response on GAPS.8, blah, blah, blah. Long-term consumption, absolutely, of HCl plus pepsin can cause stomach irritation. Agreed. I don't actually tell people to take HCl plus pepsin for that exact reason. Generally, for children, I recommend to use cabbage as a stomach acidity stimulator. Yes. Give them cabbage juice. That means take cabbage and put it through a juicer and let them drink the juice. Fresh cabbage salad, we call that coleslaw in the U.S. Or a small helping of sauerkraut 5 to 10 minutes before the meal, and their stomachs will be ready and full of acid. If this measure is not enough, then use a little bit of HCl. Excellent. All right, let's see. Stomach acid, how do I know? Also, considering we are starting intro in a week and are supposed to slowly increase, how can we family at the start of intro? Thanks, Brandon. That's excellent. I love that, putting that in there. So I do believe that I've done an entire Facebook Live on increasing stomach acid. I believe I've done one. If you jump on my YouTube channel, Ask the GAPS Chef Stomach Acid. Again, I don't use HCl plus pepsin because I don't want it to burn anybody's stomach. I love people, especially for children, to use bitters. Get some good bitters. Bitters, not bitters for the bar. Bitters, they're called digestive bitters, and you can give them a little bit in a little bit of sparkling water before their meal. It's a great thing to do. I think that's a wonderful thing to do. All right. None of us burp, so I know we have low stomach acid. Also, I all get nauseous with it, and I know we'll have to start slowly, but I think that can be an indicator. Yes, well, nausea is usually an indicator of gallbladder issue, liver, gallbladder. Okay, but yes, you can take a little bit of ACV before a meal. I really suggest, Brandon, that you take some bitters. It's a great thing for children. A little bit of bitters. Yeah. Okay, everyone. I have to scoot a voo off to teach. Thank you for joining me today. Such a wonderful thing to have you with me. Do look at the page in the next couple of days. I'll be getting in there and spending probably half an hour, 30 minutes a day trying to get through all the questions that have come through. So keep your eye on that. And until we meet or speak, or until next week, right? Ask the GAPS Chef. Same GAPS time, same GAPS channel. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of each other. And yeah, blessings to everyone. Okay, bye-bye.